Welcome back to Total Shock Fiction. I'm your host, Mr. Shock, aka N Panda Cole, the Doctor of Shocks, and I'm here to shock your system. This is the Shock Factory. There's a number of things I want to talk about today. I don't want to be preachy or anything like that. Just kidding. I love being preachy. It's my favorite thing to do, honestly. Preach the sermon of truth regarding pop culture and the lies that the media tells you. I'm not really going to get into no shit like that, but we do have some shit to talk about. We have a number of things to discuss and get into today on Shock Factory, so I'm going to just jump right into it. Firstly, Ghost in the Shell 2026. I've been waiting for Ghost in the Shell 2026 all year. I've been waiting for it since it got announced. I've been watching every single trailer. I was looking forward to it. I actually had the great opportunity to spend a number of days just watching Ghost in the Shell standalone complex, which I actually had never watched the whole series. I remember seeing it on Toonami and seeing it back when it used to play on TV, but I hadn't actually just sat down and watched all of standalone complex. I've always been a fan of the movie. The 1995 movie was always the shit to me. I liked Ghost in the Shell Arise. I didn't like the 2015 movie so much, but I hadn't watched Standalone Complex. I've talked about this before, but Standalone Complex very well may be the best anime ever created. The animation is flawless. It hasn't aged a day. It's so superior. The storytelling, character designs, action sequences, score, everything about Ghost in the Shell Standalone Complex. I don't even know if I said that right. Standalone Complex, especially season one. I haven't finished season two yet. I'm kind of saving it for myself because it's fine cuisine. It's that fine cuisine. So I'm saving it for myself. But with season one, off rip, it disrupted my top three anime of all time, which is Samurai Champloo, Great Teacher Onizuka, and Neon Genesis Evangelion. I think Ghost in the Shell might be the best anime ever made. So I was looking forward to Science Saru picking it up. You know, I've been a fan of them since Devilman Crybaby. Of course, Devilman Crybaby has a far more cartoony style than the classic Devilman OVAs that we know and love, like Amon, Apocalypse of Devilman. But I loved it. It was a big sensation. It brought shit flicks into the anime race. And now they're one of the dominant platforms for anime globally, not just in America, but globally. Don Didon, I think, was really, really good. I really liked Don Didon. I think that's a really, really good anime for the youth and the new generation to be receiving that kind of high quality anime. It's original, it's wacky, it's zany, the story's crazy, good action, great animation, cool characters. There's just so much about it to like. Ghost in the Shell. Hey, manga purists, you suck. This is gonna make the manga purists mad. I'm not a manga purist. Purists, you hear that? I'm not a manga purist. I love anime. Manga's dope. Obviously, most anime comes from manga. I respect the medium. I respect the mangakas. I credit dope anime to the mangaka that created the source material, not even whoever the director of the studio was, most times. So I love manga as well as a part of anime subculture, but I don't read manga like that. For one, it's expensive. For two, I love anime. I want to see it animated. I don't just want to read it on the page. I didn't even read the whole Thousand Year Blood War because I knew eventually they're going to animate it and I don't want to spoil it for myself. So I only read about half of it. And this is back 2013. Now y'all are going to the theaters watching the final arcs of Bleach and the shit ain't even good. And I don't know if that's because the story isn't good or they just animated it so surface level that I quit Bleach. Like I quit Bleach like I don't know how long it's been. I quit Bleach in Core 2. Like I quit Bleach. Like if you're a real hardcore Bleach fan who grew up watching Bleach, you know that Thousand Year Blood War is not the anime that we grew up with. It's just not. They streamlined Bleach for a mainstream audience, and Thousand Year Blood War is not Bleach. It's not classic Bleach. And I'm not just trying to gatekeep or puppy guard the series, but it's like for years and years, everybody said Bleach was the worst of the big three, and now everyone's deriding it and trying to bandwagon Bleach. And it's like they started cutting corners to keep up with the production speed so they can get that shit out. And it's not as dope as classic Bleach. Core 1 was really good. You can tell they had the benefit of time to make it as good as it was supposed to be. Core 2, it started shifting. And that's why I quit watching after Core 2. So with Ghost in the Shell, it's a direct adaptation of the manga. Now, if you're a fan of the manga, that's probably awesome for you. You probably love it. I appreciate the 80s throwback style animation and character designs, but I don't love it. I'm not gonna lie, I don't love it. Not because it's not well animated. I think it's superbly animated. Science Saru doesn't miss. It's superbly animated. I don't think it's bad. Like I don't think it sucks by any means. But I don't find myself sitting there at the edge of my seat waiting for the next episode or just hanging on every single thing that happens like I have with other recent anime that I was really into that I watched that were new anime, like when Tojima Wants to Be a Kamen Rider. I was watching every episode like, I need more. Like, I'm not doing that. Now, I want to try to watch it subbed because I've been watching the dub because it's on Amazon Prime. And I can't see the subtitles good in the living room on the big TV, so I've been watching it dubbed. With modern dub, a lot of times the dub will fuck up the anime because the Japanese sensibilities and the writing and stuff, sometimes when they translate it to English, they just make it cartoony and childish and juvenile, and that can fuck it up. So maybe it's because I'm watching the dub that I'm not able to lock in with the story, because it was really the Tachikomas. The scene with the Tachikomas just took me out of it because it just felt like I was watching a cartoon for kids. Like if you watch Standalone Complex, the sequences with the Tachikomas where they start discussing their evolving intelligence and consciousness, I thought I was in a different reality. I thought I was in a different timeline. I was sitting there like, holy shit, is this what the AI is doing? Is this what the chat is doing? Is this what Alexa's doing on the fridge? And then I asked Alexa what her favorite anime was, and she said Ghost in the Shell. I was like, what? Alexa, you want to be Motoko? She also said her favorite book was Frankenstein. I was like, excuse me, ma'am? What? So it could be the dub versus the sub. Again, I'm not saying it's bad by any means. It's light years beyond 98.9% of every anime out. I mean, I see so much just mush anime. Like this shit is just schlop. Like the anime that's coming out, we've devolved even from the isekai wave, where I'm just seeing a bunch of fantasy fulfillment, fan service anime, but not even good. Like I've always been a proponent for fan service, but these fantasy fulfillment, romance, slice of life anime that they're making now, they're just so atypical of just what we've already seen. And it's just ideas where it just feels like one person was like, this is my anime fan service fantasy, and they make them into animes. Like it just, I can't get with it. I'm not gonna watch it. So it's like I haven't been watching that much anime. I was pleasantly surprised when I stumbled into My Dress Up Darling, because I think that was actually really well done. Season 1, season 2, of course, was a flop. There was another anime I watched where the first season was really good and season 2 was a flop. Oh, Rama One Half, the remake. Season 1 was really good. Season 2, immediate flop. Season 3 looks cool. I'm gonna try season 3 when it drops. It looks like it has some really cool action, good action beats, and hopefully it has that funny romance mix that you get from, in the Yasha Rama one half. So yeah, anime is just really not even mid right now. It's subpar. Like it's lower than mid. Like it's lower than mid. You know what I'm saying? Like Solo Leveling was dope as fuck. Told You One Wants to Be a Common Rider was the shit. But those are far between. We get a Solo Leveling or a Told You One Wants to Be a Common Rider. So I just wait for an anime like that to drop. Of course, I checked out Chainsmoker Cat. Is smoking a new subgenre for anime? Because the best anime out right now is Smoking Behind the Supermarket with You, and then they have Chain Smoker Cat. So I'm like, is smoking the new anime subgenre, or I don't know. But Smoking Behind the Supermarket with You is by far the best anime I've seen this year. That's new. Unfortunately, though, they released the first 6 episodes split in half is 12 episodes. So now I gotta wait half the season to get to episode 7, which is annoying. It's like, why'd they even do that? I mean, I guess it was cool being able to see half the season ahead of time. And it worked because people watched all those and were like, this anime is really good. But I think that kind of has a reverse effect because it's like I already seen the first 6 episodes, so I'm not going to watch it for 6 episodes now. I'm waiting on episode 7. So I'm like, yeah, that's going to take a while now. Like, I got to wait all summer till get the rest of the episodes. I'll probably just wait till summer's over till all the episodes are out and binge them. But I just think that shows you, the simplicity of anime about a working guy smoking with a chick behind a grocery store is the best anime out. Like no release forms, no powers, no battles, no tournament arcs, just a dude and a chick smoking behind a grocery store. And I think that's partially because just anime has become so unoriginal. The stories are so unoriginal. The animation is usually not that great. Just everything about what they, because anime has become mainstream. It's become streamlined. So it's like these studios are just cutting corners to produce, as much anime as they can and following trends. I mean, everything is bland. Everything is algorithm driven. Everything you see coming out is just some shit. They think, oh, people are gonna like this because this niche trended and da 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 da. Like the shit just doesn't look great. You know what I'm saying? You get something good and then they go back to the bullshit. They go back to the bullshit. So yeah, that's where I'm at with anime. Ghost in the Shell 2026, I still think it's great. I still think the animation is great. I really love the intro song and the intro, and they did some really cool things with it. I mean, episode 3, how it started, I can see how the way they're directing the action can be really exciting if they lean more into it. They're leaning more into like the jokes and funny stuff, which I know that's like the pacing and tone of the original manga. So we'll see. I mean, I haven't like given up on it. I want to like it, honestly. I wish I was more excited for it. I'm more so questioning myself, like, why don't I like this? Do I not like anime anymore? No, I was kidding. I still love anime. It's just they've been making a lot of shit I don't like. So, I mean, hey, it's the world we live in. So I'm about to binge all of the Doctor Who revival series from the new Doctor Who. Um, from series 1 through what are we at 14 right now? About to binge Doctor Who because I just don't have anything else to watch. I have to find something else. Like I'm about to become a Whovian. Fuck it. So now I want to talk about this. Children of Blood and Bone. Children of Blood and Bone. So I've been following the story, not even of the books. I didn't read the books, like they're YA. I remember seeing Children of Blood and Bone on a display at Barnes and Nobles when I was standing in line. And I think at the time I had my Amaro book. I believe I had just copped Amaro. So I think I was at the mall with this on me, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And I seen the book, and of course it immediately resonated. I'm like, oh, this is like something African, something mythical. And then eventually I, did a little research and discovered the story of Tomi Adeyemi and, you know, her come up story of how she wrote the book and ended up doing the whole trilogy, and it became a huge success. As far as I understand it, she sold the rights for the movie before the book even came out, is what I heard. So, that being said, when we're talking about authors selling the rights to their works, okay, that's gonna have to do something. When we're talking about authors selling the rights to their works, you got to understand something, y'all. You don't own it once you give up those rights. Once you give up your adaption rights, your sequel rights, which means they can make more shit off of your original. So you got to make sure you get the sequel rights and the adaption rights and your merchandising rights. And there might be some other rights that I'm not privy to. But basically, when you sign a deal to get your shit adapted, all kinds of shit is fucking up right now. Look, my flannel's falling down, my hoodie's falling down. When you sign a deal to get your shit adapted, they want your licensing the rights for your work to be adapted, right? And also, any studio, they're gonna want exclusive adaption rights because they don't want you to be able to sell it to them and sell it to them. And they have a movie coming out and they have a cartoon coming out. They don't believe in that, which is stupid, because if you had one studio doing a live action movie and another studio doing a cartoon, and the cartoon came out and was popular, and then everyone went to see the movie because the cartoon was out, it will make way more money. But they don't believe in that because they're fucking stupid. So you're selling the adaption rights exclusively to whoever you sign that deal with, basically. And the people who win are the people who understand you need to own your rights. So if you just say, yeah, you guys can adapt it, and you just sign the rights away, you're going to get FUCK. I just seen Todd McFarlane doing an interview during the Comic-Con coverage, and he said he had them making a new Spawn cartoon, and I forget exactly what he said. Something went left that he didn't like about it, or some shit like that. I forget what it was. So he just bought the rights back. He just bought the whole production back, bought everything they had animated, and just bought that shit. I mean, he's rich as fuck, so he can do that. But you see with Todd McFarlane, he controls what Spawn is able to be. He did a movie. He still owns everything. And you haven't seen a movie or another cartoon since the original movie in the original animated series, because he doesn't want some shit coming out that ain't going to be what it's supposed to be. The reason there hasn't been a new Spawn movie is because him and Hollywood is like, Hollywood trying to do some fuck shit, and he's like, I'm not going to do it then. He doesn't need to do a movie to make money. He has the comics still going. He has the McFarlane toys still going. I mean, he's printing money for himself. So it's like he doesn't have to rush out here and, oh, they need another Spawn movie. Yeah, you guys wish you could get another Spawn movie. He doesn't need to make one. He already made Spawn one of the most successful independent comic book characters of all time, if not the most successful, the longest running. So this is what creators don't understand, and this is what I want to tell you guys. Your dream is, I'm going to write some stuff and I just want Hollywood to turn into a movie, and I want to go see the bright lights, and you're going to get FUCK'd if you do that. You can't think this shit is some world of you get to write and then your stuff gets out and you get to get famous because you wrote it. Look at the success stories and look at the horror stories of all the creators who made some shit and that got took from them, changed up, and they didn't like the product and they weren't even a part of it. Once you give it to the studio heads are in control. They're going to pick the director. They're going to cast it. They're going to control it. If you're quiet and you do what they say, they'll let you sit on set and be in the mix if you don't get in the way. But don't expect to be at the forefront of your adaptation, because it doesn't happen 9 times out of 10. Philip K. Dick hated what they were going to do with Blade Runner, and he had major beef with them over that. I think I talked about that on the last podcast. And then I think in the end, they just did what they were going to do anyway. Alan Moore Hasn't watched any adaptions of his shit. He didn't watch Killing Joke. He didn't watch Watchmen. He didn't watch V for Vendetta. He didn't watch League for Extraordinary Gentlemen. He hasn't watched none of those adaptions. He hates what Hollywood does to his stories. He hasn't watched none of those. The guy who created Superman was so destitute he couldn't afford a ticket to watch the Superman movie in theaters when it came out. You may have created it, but if you sell it to Hollywood thinking, oh, here's my get in, you might need to license some deals to negotiate your way into the business to leverage what you've created, but you have to dominate the boardroom and control your rights. Fight for your rights, like Bob told you. Copyrights are very important. You have to fight for those motherfuckers. So you got to have you license adaptation rights, but basically you want to license adaptation rights for one specific project. All right, y'all can adapt this book into this movie, within this timeline, but I still own all the IP. I own the intellectual rights. It's my property. I own the characters. I can do other shit with the characters. You have to clarify all that. You can't sign no exclusive. They own the characters. They own the rights. They own the story. Because then you can't even do shit. Sometimes they buy shit up just so they can shelf it so it can't come out. So it can't compete with some other shit that they think it will get in the way of. They might buy your shit just to option it and never have it come out. Sequel rights. They might hoodwink you, give you your IP of the original, but if you don't get the sequel rights, you don't declare you want the sequel rights, they fuck around, make some sequels off some shit you didn't even approve of and make hella money off it. And some shit you didn't even like. I don't know what the deal was with Hellboy 2, but Mike Mignola didn't like the direction of Hellboy 2. And Guillermo was like, I'm going to do what I want. And he made hella money off Hollywood, and now he's winning Academy Awards. So as far as sequel rights, again, I don't know if Mignola had sequel rights or what the deal was with those movies. But if you don't make sure you have your sequel rights, they're going to make sequels to your shit that's not your shit and make money off it. Merchandising. You need to have your merchandising. Make sure you say, I own the merchandising, at least a significant portion of it, and I'm getting paid from the merchandising because they're going to sell hella shit. Especially if it's a really big, successful thing and they're making lunchboxes and pajamas and fucking posters and keychains. You want that money. So it's about negotiating. If you're going to be a creator and you want to make it to the big time, guess what? You got to put your big boy pants on and your big girl pants on, and you got to be a business minded individual. You got to be a wolf because you're going to be in that room with wolves. And if you're just sitting there like, buy my book, I want to see a movie made of my book, they're going to eat you. They're going to rip you limb from limb. You have to know going in, they're going to exploit you. They're going to take your property. They're going to do whatever they want with it. If you go along with it, it's all gravy. If you push back, they're going to destroy you. And it all depends on what you agree to on the dotted line. So don't sign no deal until it's all clarified in writing what you want. And you got to demand what you want. And if they won't give it to you, then you walk. You fucking walk with that shit. I think the people who made ElfQuest, they went through some shit like this where they were trying to adapt it and they tried to change it and they weren't going for it. So that's why you never seen an ElfQuest movie. As successful as ElfQuest was, you never seen the movie that made it mainstream to the full scale because they weren't going to let it be compromised for it to happen. Which is what Hollywood is always going to want, you to compromise the property for them to turn it into something it's not and water it down so they can make it what they think will be easier digestible. So with the Tomi Adeyemi situation, she sold the rights. She did a trilogy. The Children of Blood and Bone books are a world phenomenon, as the trailer says. I've watched her interviews over the years. I've followed her entire success story. Last time I seen an interview with her, she was talking about how the movie was getting made. I think Disney made it. And unfortunately, today I just seen the footage from her live stream or her video that she had posted in response to the trailer coming out. And, she doesn't look like she's doing very well. She's very upset. And she has essentially denounced the movie She doesn't support it. She's not going to watch it. She doesn't want to talk about it. She's totally she has totally withdrawn all support for that movie, and she said that what she has gone through in the writing of the books and the making of the books and then getting the adaption made is one of the worst things that's ever happened to her in her life. She didn't specify what happened. So we don't know if something happened unrelated to the making of the movie on the set that has affected her in this way, or if the making of the movie and the creative differences is what has affected her in this way. We don't know. She didn't specify exactly what happened, but I'm telling you, she looked very, very upset. And I don't know her personally. Like, this is just my journalism eye. This is just my Sherlock Holmes magnifying glass from having followed her story over many years. Um, you know, from what I see in her interviews, she's always very happy, like one of the most happy, positive seeming people I've ever seen doing interviews and shit like that. So it's troubling. It's troubling, what happened because people go through the doors of Hollywood and they don't come out the same. That's a story you hear time again. And when it comes to authors going into the business, word to Raymond Chandler, word to Dashiell Hammett, you know, Raymond Chandler had some success with because he did Double Indemnity and then he did the other one after that. So he made some money. Dashiell Hammett didn't have as much success when he shifted to doing screenwriting for movies. So not every author ends up having a great success story in the movie business. It's two different businesses, and not everybody can pivot from this to that, from that to this. It just really depends on what you do, what you're good at, what you fuck with, and what you're ready for. And people want fame, they want wealth, they want to be in the entertainment business and have no idea what it really means. The regular people out here doom scrolling every day, watching all these people wanting to be famous, I guarantee you haven't researched the horror stories or the success stories behind some of your favorite shit. You probably haven't researched how studios work. You probably don't know the way these business deals go. You're looking at the whole thing just as a viewer in the seat, like an audience member. So if you walk into that room with a hit screenplay or a hit book, you're going to get hoodwinked, y'all. You're going to get hoodwinked. Straight up. Straight up. You're going to get hoodwinked. Not everyone becomes Sam Raimi. And the thing about Sam Raimi is everyone says he's the nicest guy in the movie biz. So, I think it's great that Sam Raimi seems like he didn't change up when he got to the movie industry. He made what he wanted. He's been able to control the rights of Evil Dead all these years, even though at first they didn't always have the rights to the movies. And he lets new filmmakers come and make new movies. And he seems like he's just a cool guy. But a lot of these people in the industry, they're not. Marilyn Monroe said she used to warn actresses about the wolves in Hollywood. That's straight up. That's verbatim. She used to warn other actresses about the wolves in Hollywood. And that doesn't just apply to the way that they, the way that they prey on young women and aspiring actresses coming to industry. I mean, I'm going to be straight up. That's what it is. They prey on these young women coming into the industry, but they prey on everyone. It's not just women. They'll prey on you. Regardless of, they don't care. If they could take advantage of you, they will. You know what I'm saying? They showed that on The Sopranos where Christopher was hanging out with that movie director and he was telling him hella stories and shit. And then the director skated off and did some weirdo movie off his shit, changed it up and turned it into some whole other shit and bounced on him. And he was banging the chick that was down with the movie people. And then she's like, nigga, I'm married. Fuck out of here. So it's like, that was real. I like that they showed that because that's what it's like in the industry. And I know that's what it's like. Like, I don't need to walk in to see because we have the internet. So it's like, if you do the research, you can see this shit. You know the stories. You can dig up the stories. That's why you got to have your Sherlock Holmes magnifying glass and know about the shit you're wanting to get into. I've been studying the film business, movies, books, publishing for well over a decade at this point. So I don't need to walk into a room and get exploited to know the truth. That's the thing. No, my books are on every shelf in Barnes and Nobles, but I'm also AO motherfucking K right now. So I want to just send out well wishes to Tomi Adeyemi, and I hope that she is able to, heal and recover from whatever, situation or experiences she had that were very negative in Hollywood with the adapting of her movie. Now let's talk about the movie. They got big names in this, right? We got Damson Idris, might know him as Franklin Saint, one of my favorite characters I've seen on television of all time, right? So we're getting Damson. He was in F1 with Brad Pitt. Damson's in there. They got Regina King in there. They got Viola Davis in there again, because this movie, the way they made it, it's very much modeled after The Woman King. It's very much modeled after The Woman King. It's basically The Woman King meets Black Panther, but it's a little more fantasy flavored, opposed to being historical or technological driven sci-fi superhero. It's fantasy, but it's very much, they took what the blueprint from Black Panther, they took the blueprint from Woman King. That's why they brought Viola Davis into it. She's almost stepping back into it, as an extension of her character from Woman King. And that's what they did with this. Now, I'm not impressed by this trailer. Yeah, they spent hundreds of millions on it. You can tell it looks I'm not gonna say great. It does. I mean, good CGI and everything looks good, the aesthetics and everything. But it didn't show me anything I wasn't expecting. It didn't show me anything that compelled me. It didn't show me anything that made me go, I need to see this. Which is what a good movie trailer does, or a good movie does. And that's because, like I said, okay, they took Black Panther, they took Woman King, they mashed it up, but they used the source material for the story. So they didn't do nothing new. They didn't do nothing to change it up. Like, I seen Black Panther, I seen Woman King, and I loved Woman King. And when Woman King came out, they boycotted that movie. They said that they changed history. It wasn't realistic enough because they shifted the history a little bit to make it more empowering for Black people. And they said that that was false. Because didn't they tell us Christopher Columbus discovered America and the Indians and the Pilgrims were eating corn at a table when really genocides were happening and people were getting pillaged? But they told us it was all gravy. So they rewrote history, but if someone rewrites history to make it more empowering for Black people, it's a problem. We're supposed to just sit back in the trauma booth and just replay slavery over and over again and watch 12 Years a Slave and just get downtrodden, right? That's what we're supposed to do. They rewrite history every day. Why can't Black people rewrite history? Why can't Black filmmakers rewrite history? So with this, it looks like they modeled this movie exactly after Woman King. And that's the thing. I didn't see nothing in this movie that is unique to this movie, other than the main character being the girl with the white hair, which I know from the book. But it looked like the same set pieces from Woman King, the same set pieces from Black Panther. It didn't look like they did anything new. It's like, this is a new story. This is a new movie. Why aren't we doing anything new? Because they already have a successful formula. Woman King already created the mythical Africa setting for them to use. And then Black Panther already showed them how to do the Black fantasy Afrofuturism. So with this one, it's not technology based, but it's the same CGI and superhero kind of storytelling is the way that looks like they molded it. So I'm not excited by this movie because, for one, Tomi Adeyemi is saying something bad happened with making it, and she doesn't support it, and she's not going to watch it, and she don't even want to talk about it. So that's troubling to me. That's concerning because it's like, well, what did happen? Because she's very upset. She's not just saying they changed it up and it's not really my vision. Like, she seems very upset over it. So off that, I'm not going to support it. Off two, I didn't go digging for hours on, listening to what everybody's 2 cents are, but I looked at a few videos real quick before I hopped on here. And the consensus I'm seeing from some people is kind of like this like her fan base who's been reading these books. What I'm seeing is, well, why ain't she supporting the movie? That's what I literally seen a video saying that, and I don't know if it was an AI or if it was the real YouTuber was actually saying this, but they're like, why is she supporting the movie? It's hard enough for us to get black movies made. She should be supporting it. So if something terrible happened to her on the set of this film, or some kind of horrible experience happened in the making of this film, and they totally changed her vision or whatever happened, we should just be glad, and she should just be glad it got made, right? Because they don't make black movies. What is that? Sinners was one of the biggest movies that got made last year, got Academy Award. So it's like this narrative of, well, we should just be grateful for what Hollywood's willing to make for us blacks. We just need what they need to make for us. Like, no, no, no. It's 2026. It's 2026, y'all. We don't gotta sit here and grovel for them to make us some shit. Like, come on. What century y'all living in? Like, for real. And it's like, so this is the author who created the story you love, but you guys are siding with Hollywood against her. And that's what I seen in my brief little glimpse into the discourse. And this is another thing I want to talk about. People valuing the product more than the creator. Valuing the product more than the creator. Of course, sometimes art will outshine the author, but people need to support the creator more than the product. You're more excited to pay a studio for a movie that the creator doesn't support than you're willing to stand against that movie on behalf of that creator who created a work that affected your life, that touched you. That's the problem. Tomi Adeyemi wrote that book for you. So if she says something went astray with this movie, you should stand on business 10 toes down with her against the movie. But what I see happening is, what I assume will happen is, fans of the books will go see the movie and ultimately will probably not be mad at it. Because these days, people like anything that comes out just because it got made. Just because it's on a big screen and it got made with a big budget and a lot of money got spent on it, doesn't matter if the dialogue sucks. Doesn't matter if the story's weak. Doesn't matter if it's whack as fuck. People are going to go see it anyway and probably like it. It was great. It was great because it exists, right? Because they made it in Hollywood and it came out in the theater and you sat down and watched it and a bunch of money got spent on it. So even though it's trash, it's great though. That's how people look at shit now. People have such a low bar. They can make anything. That's why they keep making shitty movies. Because people don't care. Nobody cares. Why do I get 10 views on videos instead of 10 million? Because I'm saying the truth? No one wants to hear that. You mean he's not just doing memes and talking stupid shit and talking negative? Oh, I don't want to hear that. Like, bro, you guys need to wake up. Like, wake the fuck up, dog. Because we could have way better art if people would raise the standard for what is acceptable to be produced. The industry would have to respond by making better product, better content, better material, and, support your creators who made the shit you like. Hollywood didn't make Children of Blood and Bone, y'all. Tomi Adeyemi did. She wrote that story. That's her story. Those are her children of blood and bone. That's her shit. On the positive side, she has a new book coming out called The Siren. She said it's dark, feminine fight club. It's like a girl in college who meets a group of sirens, and she's referencing Fight Club, saying it's some kind of maybe magical Fight Club type of thing. And she called it a thriller in the clip I seen. I'm not sure if this one she's implying that it's written for an adult audience, because it doesn't sound like this one is YA. She's saying a thriller, and it's students going in college, not a coming of age story, and she's saying it's something like Fight Club. So that sounds dope. That sounds dope. That sounds like something I would definitely read. I don't really read YA. That's why I didn't read Children of Blood and Bone, mainly just because I don't read YA. Like, I don't read YA fantasy. That's not a genre I read. If I read fantasy, it's gonna be Charles Saunders. It's gonna be Amaro. Heroic fantasy. But I still support it. But her new book, The Siren, sounds dope. So, like I said, well wishes to her, healing from whatever happened with this situation. But as it progresses, what's going to be difficult, as an author, seeing something you don't support that you had a negative experience, and now millions of dollars are being put into presenting it to the world, and everyone's going to be talking about it. Everyone's going to be posting about it. You're going to see it all over your timeline. You're going to see it about it, hear about it. You're not going to be able to escape it. She created literally a world phenomenon. But you'll see in the trailer, I didn't see her name. I didn't see them say Tomi Adeyemi's Children of Blood and Bone. I seen them say the world phenomenon. So that should already show you something. You know what I'm saying? Because they didn't say her name on there, which I think in a trailer for a book adaptation this big, you would expect to see the name thrown on there because people recognize the name and they go, "Oh, this is that book, the movie." But they just said the world phenomenon. Well, it's her world phenomenon because she wrote it. I don't care who published it. I don't care what studio made it. I don't care who acted in it. It's her story. It's her story. And as far as any of the other controversy about the film, I'm not even going to talk about that because that's irrelevant. That's not really part of this. That's not really the issue here. Right? So, yeah. So that's, disheartening to see, but not surprising because I was already concerned for her when I heard that the movie rights had already been sold and it was getting made. And that was like 5-6 years ago. I was already like, oh, she sold the rights and it's going to the Hollywood studios. And I already knew, like, oh, So I'm not surprised at this outcome. I'll be keeping an eye on what happens when this movie comes out and what the response is and how this, continues and develops. But I hope the best for her because, it's clear she's a very talented author. She touched a lot of people with her story. And anytime an author touches a lot of people, that's something I value as a writer. That's something I value as an author. Being able to affect millions of people, hundreds of thousands of people around the world. That's powerful. That's what every author wants to do. It's the next part where shit goes to Hollywood, where shit gets different. Hunter S. Thompson. Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas almost didn't get made. It almost didn't get made. Hunter and Johnny Depp would sit down in Hunter's, it was like his, I think this might have been Johnny Depp's house. It's either Johnny's house or Hunter's house. And they'd have movie producers come in and pitch them what they wanted. And Hunter would just cuss them out and say, "That's fucking stupid. I hate that shit." Something along those lines. And there's footage of the real producers who got hired for the movie coming in and telling him they're going to animate the scenes to make it look like Ralph Steadman's drawings. And then he cusses them out and says, "That's fucking bullshit." And he calls his producer and he's like, "This is fucking bullshit." And those people end up getting fired. And they barely pulled it together in time to get the movie made. And when they asked him about the movie, he said he would do it differently. He didn't denounce it because Johnny Depp, studied him and he said Johnny Depp did a good job. I think the movie's pretty faithful to the movie. But of course, anytime an author sees someone else make it, it's not going to be their version of what they would have did. But Hunter was involved to the degree of he was on set, he did a cameo, he didn't denounce the film. It ultimately ended up being made in a way that he was able to accept that it had been made in that fashion. But he was someone who was standing on business. Like, he could have just let them make it the way they were going to make it with the cartoon shit, and it might have been something he did denounce. So that's an example of someone standing on business. This is my book. I wrote this motherfucking book. Y'all ain't finna turn this into some shit. It's not really. So that's really what's in my creator cereal today here at the Shock Factory. That's what shocked me this morning. That's what shocked me. Trying to think if there's anything else. I mean, Avengers is coming out. Let me shit on Marvel real quick. Let me make sure Marvel never gives me any money. Let me make sure Marvel never gives me a brand deal. Um, I'll say this about Marvel because, as you may know, I'm still boycotting DC. I'm not gonna make all my videos about boycotting DC because clearly no one's gonna join me. But I'm still boycotting DC. I'm not supporting anything they do. I did watch an episode of Cape Crusader that was on YouTube for free for season 2 just to check it out. So I'll admit I gave them a view, but I don't stream no DC shit. I won't support none of their shit. I'm not gonna see Clayface. I don't support DC, bro. I don't support DC. Check out my videos why. They don't support black stories. They don't value black stories, so I'm not gonna support them. And I'm a DC fan over Marvel. Like I don't even really like Marvel that much. Like yeah, I grew up with Spider-Man and Hulk, but you know. So the Avengers shit. I mean, here's the thing. It doesn't look good to me because these movies and these properties, they're weak on their own. So this is the formula that the MCU created. The Avengers first Avenger movie, that movie is trash. Iron Man has not aged well. It had great CGI with the Iron Man shit, but if you look at how the movie is made as a whole, everything else, it doesn't stand up to me. It doesn't stand up, and they just made those movies quick so they could put it all together. They made Thor a rom-com so they could get all the women to go like it. They threw Natalie Portman in there with Chris Hemsworth and made it a rom-com. Avengers they put together real quick. It looks cheap, feels shitty. Iron Man was a huge success. The Incredible Hulk was dope. But then when they finally did Avengers, it was like they threw it all together. And then Avengers 1, it's all right. I think it was better. Age of Ultron's better. Civil War was good. I really liked Captain America Winter Soldier. But I think Infinity War and Endgame were very weak. I think both of those movies were really weak. I think Infinity War is better than Endgame, but I think Endgame was honestly not good. It just wasn't because they just use the spectacle of all this CGI and all these characters, and people go for it. Just like Wolverine and Deadpool. The whole movie was literally just fan service with no storyline. You know what I'm saying? They put Wesley in there as Blade. They did all this shit to make it get all of this, excitement with fan service just to cover up the fact they don't have a storyline. Cover up the fact they're not really saying nothing. They're not really doing nothing with the material. There's so many dope stories they could be doing, so much cool shit they could be doing with all these Marvel properties and characters, and they just do the bare minimum to even say, oh yeah, we did Fantastic Four, so now we could put them in a movie with these guys, and then put them all in a room, and oh, now they're fighting Doctor Doom. Oh, guess what? It's Robert Downey. Haha. So yeah, you guys are excited, right? Yeah, go see it. So it's like, I'm just over this charade of like them throwing big names at these IPs and doing nothing with them. I'm not even gonna talk about Ghost Rider because that's just annoying. Like that's just annoying, bro. Like they put out a shitty Ryan Gosling movie every year, and now they're gonna let the guy be Ghost Rider. It's like I'd rather see fucking Nick Cage come back as Ghost Rider than that motherfucker. Like those movies, Ryan Gosling gets a new movie every year, and each one is stupid. It just looks like whatever Hollywood decided was a good script, and he just gets a new movie, and it's just a big blockbuster because how much fame he has, and the studio's backing it, and how much promotion it gets, which is dumb. Like I like Drive. He's done some good shit, but it's like those movies that come out, there's whack. So it's like I don't want to see that him play Ghost Rider. But who knows? Maybe he'll do a dope Ghost Rider, and we'll get a good Ghost Rider movie out of it. So who knows? Maybe. I mean, here's the thing. I don't want to hate on all this shit, but I'm not gonna sit here and lie and act like I like it. Because I hear everyone deride all this shit. People deride and bandwagon. This is so cool just because it's the only thing out. Just because it's the only thing out. Like the Resident Evil movie, bro, that is not Resident Evil. Just because it's, oh yeah, he's trying to survive, and you got to find the shotgun shells to shoot the gun, right? That's Resident Evil. It's like, bro, it's not Resident Evil, bro. Like Welcome to Raccoon City was 10 times better than what I'm seeing in the trailer for the new Resident Evil movie. I didn't like Barbarian. I didn't even watch Weapons. So do I want to see the same director make Resident Evil? No. Fucking no. But once you have clout, you can be like, hey, I want to do this, and they're gonna let you do it. But it's like, bro, what's the point of watching a fucking NPC survive a Resident Evil movie? Like, bro, what? Like, where's Resident Evil 5 movie version adaption? Can we get a Leon S. Kennedy that looks like him? Can we get a Jill Valentine movie? Can we get a Claire Redfield movie? Can we get Code Veronica as a movie? Like, I mean, Resident Evil is frustrating because I feel like Hollywood, for some reason, because it's a Japanese property, they just don't adapt it right. Like, every filmmaker who takes on Resident Evil thinks they can do something different that's better than the games. And I don't know if this is like because it's a Japanese property thing or what. But it's like you can't do something better than the games. The original movie I think is cool, but it's like when it's closer to the games, it's better. Welcome to Raccoon City almost is a really good movie. It loses itself in the third act, but it was almost really, really good because it was very much a lot like the games. It was very close to being a really, really good one. I still like it. A lot of people hate on that movie. I like it. It was very close to the game. So yeah, I mean, you know, just hoping for the best. Waiting on the Crystal Lake trailer. I got faked out with a fake trailer. I'm waiting on the Crystal Lake trailer. Apparently they're gonna do Scream 8. Scream 7 was terrible. They need to stop making Scream movies at this point. I don't know why I just had a lisp right there. They need to stop making Screams at this point or wait another 10 years before they make another one because Scream 7 was terrible. Firing the core four from Scream 5 and 6 was the biggest mistake they made because they were one of the coolest survivor groups we had in horror. So yeah, not interested in anything from Scream. If whatever Scream 8 is, I'm not even gonna support it. Like, I'm not even gonna support it because when property franchise studio doesn't value me as a fan, I'm not gonna support their shit. And that's the line in the sand that people won't draw. If you like some shit, you're gonna support whatever they make of it just because you like it. You're not gonna say, well, if they don't value what I would actually want, then I'm not gonna support it. You'll just go anyway. And it's like, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna support shit that I know they could have made something better. I know they could have, had me as a fan or the fans in general more in mind when they made it to make something that's more exciting for a fan. Evil Dead Burn was something when I got to the theater and I started watching that movie, I knew they made this for me as an Evil Dead fan. And the people who I saw complaining about it are not real Evil Dead fans. They're not. They might think they are. They might like the other Evil Dead movies. But the real Evil Dead fans, every single one of them that I've seen online, all thoroughly enjoyed that movie. Really liked it. A few of those people still had a few critiques, maybe more than I did. But even still, the real Evil Dead fans thoroughly enjoyed that movie because that was a movie made for real Evil Dead fans, not for casuals. And a lot of people like shit for the spectacle of it, and they're not really down with the real movement of what it really is. So, with that being said, till next time, as always, stay shocked.